Hello and welcome to the session on project cost management. Cost is one of the triple constraints that need to be balanced in a project. Hence, cost management is a very important aspect of project management. As per Pingborg guide, project cost management includes the processes involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing, and controlling costs so that the project can be completed within the approved budget. The purpose of the cost management plan is to create, monitor, and control the project costs. This plan is based on the project scope and documents the estimating techniques that will be used as well as how the cost related processes will be carried out. Like the scope management plan, the cost management plan is a formal output of a process and it should be created prior to beginning the budget creation. The project budget is created by carrying out two planning processes, that is estimate costs and determine budget, and the project budget thus created is referred to as the cost performance baseline, which along with the cost management plan becomes a part of the project management plan. Coming to the learning objectives, in this session we will learn why we do cost management in a project and why is it important for a project. Understanding the significance of cost, we will learn how cost can be managed. Then we will move on to learn the various processes in cost management, that is plan cost management, estimate costs, determine budget, and control costs. During the course of discussion of the various processes, we will also look at some sample questions based on the PMP format. Now, what do we mean by project cost management? Project cost management includes the processes involved in planning, estimating, budgeting, financing, funding, managing, and controlling costs so that the project can be completed within the approved budget. The ability to influence cost is greatest at the early stages of the project, making early scope definition very critical. Project cost management should consider the stakeholder requirements for capturing costs. Different stakeholders will measure project costs in different ways and at different times. It is primarily concerned with the cost of the resources needed to complete project activities. Cost management should also consider the effect of project decisions on the subsequent recurring cost of using, maintaining, and supporting the product, service, or result of the project. For example, limiting the number of design reviews can reduce the cost of the project, but could do so by increasing the customer's operating costs. The cost management planning effort occurs early in project planning and it sets the framework for each of the cost management processes so that performance of the processes will be efficient and coordinated. Now, why do we manage cost? Normally, in any project, there are constraints which need to be taken care of throughout the project, and the project's success or failure is measured based on these factors. These constraints are time, scope, and cost. Now, the question comes, why we manage cost? Normally, in any project, there are constraints which need to be taken care of throughout the project, and the project's success or failure is measured based on these factors. These constraints are scope, time, and cost, and are known as triple constraint. These constraints are always competing against each other during the execution of the project. A project manager must integrate all aspects of the project to manage the interaction of time, cost, and scope for project success. Now, how do we manage cost? Cost management is achieved through four tightly coupled processes. These processes are: first, plan cost management. It is the process that establishes the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, managing, expending, and controlling project costs. Second, estimate costs. It is the process of developing an approximation of the monetary resources needed to complete project activities. Third, determine budget. It is the process of aggregating the estimated costs of individual activities or work packages to establish an authorized cost baseline. Fourth, control costs. It is the process of monitoring the status of the project to update the project costs and managing changes to the cost baseline. Out of these four processes, plan cost management, estimate costs, and determine budget are part of planning process group, while control costs is a part of monitoring and controlling process group. Now, let's begin with the first process in this knowledge area. Plan cost management is the process that establishes the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, managing, expending, and controlling project costs. The key benefit of this process is that it provides guidance and direction on how the project costs will be managed throughout the project. This is the process where all the guidelines related to the project budget is documented and is always referred to during the project execution. Coming to the inputs, outputs, tools, and techniques of this process. The inputs are: first, project management plan. Parts of the project management plan corresponding to project scope is an input to this process. Second, project charter. It is used as an input as it provides the overall budget for the project. Third, enterprise environmental factors. It is used as an input as some of the factors like market conditions, etc. might influence project cost. Fourth, organizational process assets. It is used as an input as some of the historical information might be helpful in preparing the cost management plan. Coming to the tools and techniques. First, expert judgment. Opinions from experts along with the historical information proves to be of great help in preparing the cost management plan. Second, analytical techniques. This is employed to decide how the project will be funded. Third, meetings. Sometimes meetings are conducted within the project team to prepare the cost management plan. Coming to the outputs. The only output of this process is cost management plan, which essentially gives a framework for the other processes in the cost management knowledge area.